Hey guys. All right, hang on. I'm getting all set up here. Do 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 do. Hey everybody. I'm so happy you're here. I can't believe you're spending your lunch hour, middle of the day, middle of the night, wherever you are in the universe. But welcome to boot camp. I am Natalie Diaz, and I'm super stoked that I am joined today by one Ms. Hannah Banana from Montana. She is there of our Twiniversity team. So if you need anything from any of us, whether it's me, you could unmute yourself and ask questions. But if you're like, Nat's not hearing me or whatever, you could always message Hannah or myself. We're literally right here. So we're really excited to have you guys here. We have a lot planned for you over the next, what may feel like 9.5 hours. It's entirely up to you of how this day goes. But I want to let you know that this class is for you. It's not for me. It's not for Hannah. We want you guys to get the most out of this experience so that you feel better about not only your delivery day experience, but hopefully parenting twinnies in general. So I am a parent of twinnies, as most of you know. I'm Nat, and that is Hannah. We're going to talk a little bit more about me, but everybody, with the exception of one person on our Twiniversity team, is a parent of twins. So always know that when you email us or send us a direct message on any social platform, it's one of us, also known as one of you, that is getting that. So we're always trying to help you as much as we can. And today it doesn't end with this delivery day boot camp. I hope you guys have been reading the articles, listening to the podcast, watching our YouTubes and all that. We have a ton of information to help make your life better. I know that sometimes I know it's more than sometimes that it can be very, very overwhelming. I feel you. I know. I speak to twin moms on a daily basis and not just from my team. So it can be a little overwhelming, but hopefully we're going to put quite a few fears at ease that you may have, or any questions or comments that are just stressing you out. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, Hannah and I both really want to make sure that you get the most out of this experience. So welcome. That's my little disclaimer. Before we also jump in, I want to say that my word is not law. And I feel it's really important to tell you that. So I'll suggest things to you, but at no time is it my way or the highway. So, like, for real, if you don't agree with something and yet you have more questions and want to ask us, I absolutely love that. I want to present to you a lot of opinions, a lot of different opportunities to do things, a lot of different ways that things could be done. But there is no one way to do anything. That's why I say even my way isn't law, right? So I'm a very urban human. I'm born and raised in New York City. Like, I do have a car. I do drive every day, for the record. But I do live in the heart of New York City. So like, I can't relate to like going to a supermarket. Like, we don't have like regular human supermarkets. I love it. It's my Disneyland. Don't get me wrong. Like a Stop and Shop, forget it. A Publix, what? Yes, that's my dream come true. It's just wandering the aisles and looking at the selection of crushed tomatoes. That's my happy place. So I don't have that here, but I have a view that personally is a little tunnel vision. However, universally, I have been in the twin world space with Twiniversity for 15 years. My 20s are 19, and I am living proof that you will be fine. Yes, you will have more white hair. Yes, you may have a few scars along your body from trying to catch somebody as they were falling off of a slide and then having a stick go into you. But them's the breaks, kids. That's just the way it goes. So, yes, so welcome. We're going to begin pretty much now. And for all of you that it's a possibility, I would love, love, love if you would put your cameras on. It is not required, but genuinely, I look to your faces for feedback. So it's a little weird. I'm not a typical educator, but I sometimes going to ask you guys for thumbs ups, thumbs downs, thumbs in betweens. But if I could see you, then I could pace the class a little bit better, right? If I see that anybody's totally out cold and falling asleep, maybe I jazz it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. All right, guys. So let me begin at the beginning. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, everybody close your eyes. Going back to the beginning, I had to check on everything. All right, there we go. See, I told you this is the way I roll. I'm only half put together because I'm still drunk from all the Reese's eggs that I ate yesterday. Did anybody make themselves sick from eating too much chocolate like a 5-year-old? Or was it just me? Is that it? I think it was the combination of ham and chocolate probably did not go as well in my guts at the tender age of 47, I think, or maybe 48. I can't remember how old I am right now, but it didn't do well for the belly. So yeah, I'm still on a Reese's hangover. All right, guys. So here we go. We're going to dive in. And if you could see my screen, I am still on the screen with you, but I am on another screen too. So here we go. Let's hope that this works. All right. So here's what we're going to cover today. Okay, kids, we're going to talk about top fears. We're going to talk about 3 things that you need to do before delivery day. I'm going to try not to overwhelm you because I could do this. Hannah knows I could be on screen for 9 hours easily. We're going to talk about how will you know when you're in labor. We'll talk about birthday preferences. We'll also talk about being an advocate for yourself, which is going to be a critical one. We're actually going to talk quite a bit about that, hopefully. We're going to talk about recovery time and then, of course, your first experience with your twinnies. If you guys have any questions already, just start popping them in the chat. It's totally fine. And we'll get to them as organically as possible. So if you're stressed about, gear or stressed about something else, throw it in the chat so that I could have it come up in a natural way, as opposed to saying, okay, we're going to do a Q&A. Like, the more that I could help you throughout, please let me do that. Okay. All right. Also, for you guys, if you can, change your names to your first name, your state, how many weeks you are, and if you know what you're having, because I would also love if you guys would connect with other twin families. It is, Hannah, what would you say on a level of 1 to 10, the importance of connecting with other twin families?
I give it a 10 because no matter how many friends you have that have singleton children, they'll never understand what you're going through. Finding another twin mom that you can like laugh about the trials and tribulations is a game changer.
Yes.
Or cry too, whatever you need to do. And having somebody that understands what you're going through is mandatory.
Yeah, you really need it. And like already, like Jasmine and Leanne, like you guys should already connect knowing that this is the second time around for you guys. So you're twins +1, right? So even that is going to be really rewarding. But I genuinely cannot tell you the amount of twin parent pep talks that we give here just because it's just an isolating experience. So definitely try to connect with somebody else, even though it's a stranger. Don't feel weird about it. This is our circle of trust, kids. So for real, you're in good hands within our group. All right, so who am I? For those of you who do not know, I am Natalie Diaz. I'm the big cheese here at Twiniversity. That's my official title. I even put that on my tax returns. Yes, they question me every single year, but I'm not a consultant. I'm not just an educator. I'm not a lactation professional. I'm not a birth worker. Like, I'm everything. I don't know how to put that down for good old Uncle Sam, so I just put big cheese and let them figure it out. So I am an author of What to Do When You're Having To and the Newborn Twins Sleep Guide, which, by the way, is still a best-selling new release on Amazon. So right now, I am so proud. I have 2 books in the top 10 of our category on Amazon, which I think is quite really insane because I could barely spell my name, kids. God bless Grammarly is all that I'll say about that. But yeah, so I'm an author. I'm also a CPST, which stands for Child Passenger Safety Technician. So I am a car seat nut. I'm not so nuts that I'm going to send you hate messages on Instagram if I see that your babies are in too loose, but I am somebody that you could ask questions to and say, hey, Nat, like, how do I know that this is installed correctly? I will humbly tell you, for the years that I am doing this, I have never had a client come to me that actually had their car seats installed 100% correctly. So it's over 54% of car seats are installed incorrectly, and you should definitely get it checked. You could go to safekids.org. Hannah, could you throw that in the chat? So, and verify that it's safekids.org, not .net or .com, but I think it's safekids.org. And it'll tell you all the CPSTs in your area. Once upon a time, the police department, the fire department used to be able to check your car seats. Yeah, they're just getting spread thinner and thinner. So it's one of the things that a lot of departments cut around the country. So you could find people, some people charge $10, some people charge literally nothing. I charge nothing. If you are here in the New York City area and you're willing to drive down to the corner of Lafayette and Grand specifically, there's a pump there. I'll meet you there with your car. I'll check your car seats. All I ask is for a present that costs under $10. I've gotten umbrellas. I've gotten banana bread twice, actually. Weirdly, I've gotten random things that they found in their car because they forgot to buy me something. So I just love that. But like a Dollar Tree something, a pack of bugles, $1.25. Yes, that will be plenty of compensation, but certainly no ham or Reese's peanut butter cups at this time. Thank you. We're not accepting those. Maybe next week. I'm also a childbirth educator, so I'm officially Lamaze trained. So I went and did all that and realized that it doesn't really apply to our universe. So although I have the skills to talk about the he's and who's and creating a visualization plan, us twin mamas, we don't often get the same opportunities that singletons do. So I do have that there, and we could pull some toys from that arsenal if we need to. But in general, there's not a lot. Your cave person that's inside of you will get you a heck of a lot further than anything that we could actually learn in an official childbirth class. Another title that I'm super duper proud of is I am a certified lactation consultant. I have been for over 5 years. I am currently pursuing my IBCLC, which means that I'm going for like the fancy master's level of becoming a lactation consultant, because I'm just absolutely infuriated with the way that the world treats us when we make free freaking food. You make free food, guys, for like everybody. You want to feed the neighborhood? Fine. You want to do potluck? You could use that too. Yeah, not everybody's going to agree with it. But like, why aren't people paying more attention to this? And so I want to empower you guys. If you'd like the opportunity to breastfeed, I would love that. Hannah, could you grab the link from the Bootcamp that has the 20-minute consults, and we'll put that in for later? Thank you very much. I'm also the host of the Twiniversity podcast. I hope you guys are listening. We just dropped our new season, and it's pretty remarkable. I don't know if you guys are loving it, but I have so much fun doing those. Some of them, yes, I'm crying. Some of them really are very heavy. We give you plenty of warning, but if you haven't listened to the podcast, we have a recent episode called we have Pooping on Singletons. No offense to the singleton families that are here, but it's basically me and another twin mom, and we don't use the word pooping. So it is an explicit episode. Do not listen to that when the kiddos are around. And of course, my all-time favorite title is I'm a twin mama. So I love my twinnies. I had IVF. I started trying to conceive when I was 22, wasn't working. I got married at 21. Please, I'm still married to the same guy. I don't know how we haven't murdered each other. It's honestly, it's a minor miracle, especially with twinnies. So I am still with this dude. We just couldn't get pregnant no matter what we did. We did IUI after IUI and Clomid and blah, blah. We did one round of IVF. I only had 2 eggs out of the 19, and they weren't even good quality eggs, but certainly they were good enough quality because they still live right upstairs and they currently started college. So how good were those quality? Apparently very good. Apparently they underestimated. So that's my all-time favorite. I have a son and a daughter. They look nothing like each other. They don't even look like they would know each other, let alone be twins. But my twins love telling people that they're twins. They tell everybody. Nobody asks them, by the way. And they also love to play Guess Who's First. By the way, spoiler alert, it's her. You'll see pictures of them later and you'll be like, that makes no sense. So yeah, so I want to also tell you guys, I put it up before we started, but we have our Twins Delivery Day workbook. So I created this for you guys. It is, you could grab it right now. It's all these pages. I have mine bound because I'm a super duper nerd, but we're going to only go through, you'll have plenty of information. It's not required to buy it, but that's the whole picture. So when I say 3 things that you need to do, the rest of the 90 are in this workbook. Okay. So if you want to scan that, feel free. If you don't, I still love you guys just the same, but I do want you to have as much information as you possibly can. All right. So moving on. And Hannah, could you throw the link in that too for that in case people want to grab that, because I don't want them paying full price because they're already here. All right, kiddos. So one of the big things that we hear often, we get a lot of emails about, we get a lot of messages, is about all the fears that you guys have. Okay. And we see Haley, and I'm not meaning to call anybody out, but I do want you to know that I specifically see you, that like Haley's fear is about having a vaginal and a C-section, right? We're definitely going to cover that. But these are the other concerns, right? Some of them are, to some of you may seem like absolutely nothing, right? There could be some of you that says, really, people worry about pooping on the table. Believe it or not, you have other people that it is like a mega fear. So for one thing that may not be a big deal to you, interestingly, it could be a life-changing event for somebody else. So these are just some of the fears that we have noted here at Twiniversity. So believe it or not, what if I poop? I'm going to tell you right now, nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. Not one person in that delivery room is giving a crap, pun intended, on whether you crap or not. You're not even going to notice. They clean it up so quick, blah, 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 blah. Nobody knows. So if that's a fear, I would like for you to just wash that one out. That's not something to worry about. I promise. Okay. Next thing is, will my wishes be respected? This is a very valid concern. And a show of pause. Okay. How many of you guys, when you were trying to get pregnant, maybe had like a vision of what your pregnancy and delivery day was going to be like, but when you found out that you were having twins, you threw your hands up and you put it in the doctor's hands? You guys looking? That's all of us, man. That's just what we did, right? So why do singletons get to have the pleasure of being respected and being heard? And yet we just are like, please just let us live, let the 20s live, right? And I'm not saying that that's not an important thing. That is important. They're going to make you live. The 20s are going to be okay. I want you to create the best memory possible as if you were having a singleton. I want you to think about what you would have done if this was one baby. And I want you to think about why you're not doing it because you're having two. So delivery day, the reason why we take so much time and put so much emphasis on delivery day is that delivery day, for those of you that already have your kiddos, you guys know it's an event in your life that imprints on your memory. There are studies that show that women with advanced Alzheimer's could recall unbelievable details from their specific delivery day, and they could be telling them to their child and have no idea that it's their child, but could remember the color of the curtains in the hospital when they walked in. Like it's that big of a moment. And so I want you to feel empowered to take ownership of that day as much as you possibly can so that you could create the memory that you want to create, not the one that the doctors created for you. Okay. And I'm not saying that we don't listen to the doctors. We totally listen to the doctors. I would never say don't, but I am saying there's plenty of things that are in our control that we have a say about. Okay. So my wishes being respected, that's a big one. Fear of pain. Hopefully you guys, by the week of your 30th week of pregnancy, you guys have all had a discussion with your doctor about creating a pain plan. Because there are some people here right now who, when they get a little too much of their nail cut at the salon, need to take 9 Advil. And then there are other people that are going to walk around on a broken leg for 4.5 weeks, and it's just going to heal on its own, right? So everybody's going to have a different level of tolerance when it comes to pain, but you do need to have a discussion with your doctor. So being afraid of pain shouldn't be an issue because your doctor is then going to be the one that's going to make sure that you're as pain-free as possible, knowing your tolerance. Okay. Fear of the unknown. Yes, I'm telling you, it is kind of scary. I don't know if it's scarier because I didn't know what the babies were going to look like, but I'll tell you, my daughter looked like Winston Churchill and my son looked like a dinosaur. Like, no joke. That's literally like you could cut a picture out. That's what they looked like. So that was my fear, is that what were these kids going to look like? And then I also, for me personally, I had a big fear of what if those weren't my embryos? I don't know if any of you else out there had IVF, but that was a good thing. I'm going to tell you, totally my embryos. Those are totally my kids. And it's too late now because I love them too much and I'm not giving them back. But the fear of the unknown of, where are you going to be? Who's going to be there? How many doctors are going to be in the OR with you? Are you going to be in an OR? So that's a very legitimate fear, but break that down on your time and say, what are the things that I'm actually afraid of? And then try to get your doctor to answer them. If there's something that we could answer, we're down. Right? You could totally call us first, but if it's something like hospital specific or delivery specific for your situation, maybe you have gestational diabetes, or maybe you had a C-section last time and you want to have a vaginal delivery. Yes, even with twins, the second time around, all those things should be answered by your doctor, but try not to leave a lot of that on the table. All right. There's a lot of people who are really worried about being vulnerable. How many of you have never been in a hospital before? Oh, that's good. Okay, thank goodness. All right. Sorry, Janae, I spoke too soon. But yes, there are people who've never visited somebody in the hospital, who've never been to an emergency room before. So there's also that of like, I'm going to be in this place. I'm going to have people take care of me. I'm always, the type A boss woman kind of thing. And it's tough sometimes to let people take care of you. So that's also a valid fear, but break that down too and talk about it with your partner, your friends, your family, even us. And let's figure out what specifically is making you feel worried about being vulnerable. A lot of people are afraid of losing control. Hi, type A much? I mean, this is who's here. You guys don't even have to raise your hand. I'm going to tell you, the people that take a Twiniversity bootcamp or a Twiniversity class, you're our people. You want to meet type A? I'm type A, Hannah Banana. Seriously, you want to talk about type A? It's literally her picture in like the dictionary. It's Hannah. That's right there. Please, that's us. But that's a twin parent. So where the world might see that as a negative, being a little bit type A as a twin mom, totally legit. It's great. You're going to love it. It's going to be easy for you. For my type B people, buck up. We got to get you on. We got to get you on our type A schedule. We got things to do, babies to change, babies to feed. So the other thing is being worried about taken care of by strangers. So we kind of talked about that briefly. Some people are worried about their partner's reaction. If you have a partner that's never changed a baby before, never held a baby before, doesn't consider themselves a baby person, it might be a little bit much. Maybe find somebody in your hood who just had a baby and drop by for a visit. But the thing is I'll tell you, and you could tell your partners, when it's your baby, it's a totally different story. And so even if they're like, I hate kids, I hate everything to do with kids, also known as my husband, really hated children, would be like, ugh, do we have to go? Like Brian just had 2 kids. Like, and I'm like, yes, it's their wedding. Like, of course we have to go. Like, what are we supposed to do? But when it came to our kids, he was like a fish to water. And we find that just in general with Papa Bears that might be a little hesitant. Don't worry too much. It's a lot different when it's their puppies. And there's a lot of people who are just afraid of being, not being a good enough parent. Right. And those things that specifically, I want to tell you about, throw that out the window, because you should also just recognize for a second that you took time out of your day to come hang out with us, to have a better experience in general, to have a better parenting experience in an overall life. That's the type of person you are. So if you're worried about, can I do this? Yes, you could totally do this. If Hannah and I could do it and the rest of our team, there's no way you can't. Like, you're going to be legit awesome. Okay, so going back to Haley with the fear of having a vaginal and a C-section, that's a very, very valid concern. One of the things that I would tell you is we have a podcast and the guest name was Natalie. Of course, I remembered that. So I can't remember what her last name was, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I could see her face in my mind's eye, but she had a double whammy birth, as we so often call it. And we actually have a lot of families within Twiniversity that have had a double whammy birth. And yes, the recovery from the delivery is a lot more work. However, if you are only going to have children once, you got the privilege of experiencing both types of deliveries on the same day. And you don't have to say if there's a winning one. There's no winning one. And to be honest with you, there's also some people that choose to have a C-section to keep, after the first one is born vaginally, they opt to have a C-section for baby B just so the twins could have the same birth date. Because if you go into labor at 10 o'clock and baby B still hasn't come down and it doesn't look like that's going to happen, there are some people that are like, this is just too weird. Let's just, try to have these kids on the same day. So there's literally people who opt to go for the C-section. So we had Mariah that says the biggest fear of fear as well as how I will deliver it, and will it be a double delivery? Why can't I read today? I want you all to have a vaginal delivery. And the reason is because the recovery is so much quicker. And for a vaginal delivery, by the way, we only need baby A to be head down. Baby B doesn't hold any of the cards, because once baby A is out, either A, baby B is like, oh, this is awesome. I have so much room. Let me do a little flipsy doodle. Or sometimes they can manually manipulate baby B to start going head down. So all we have to worry about is baby A. And if baby B is breech, you should really try to find out if your doctor would be comfortable with delivering a breech baby B, which is no different than delivering a breech baby, period, hard stop. Right? I love when doctors are like, oh, I won't deliver a breech baby B. Why, dude? Why, buddy? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just one baby. That's all that's left in there. Like, what are we stressing about? So, if your doctor isn't comfortable with delivering a breech baby, it is not too late to find a new doctor. And I know that that sounds crazy to you, especially for those of you that are already in your 30s for your weeks. But I'm telling you right now, we've had families that have changed to 36 weeks. Because if I'm telling you, I want this day to be so delicious for you, if you hate this doctor, why is he going to be part of the story? I tend to say he more because I feel like the she doctors get us a little bit more. I feel like anybody who has a vagina probably is going to be a little bit more patient with our delivery. That's kind of a prerequisite that I set myself right before I had kiddos. I was like, I want somebody with my same equipment. Certainly not pooping on male doctors by any means, shape, or form, but just for me personally, I needed somebody to understand the mechanisms that were going on down there and to be extra gentle is what I really needed. So yeah. So as long as you have a doc that feels comfortable with the breech delivery, don't worry about the vaginal and the C-section. Hopefully you could easily just have that baby A vaginally and then baby B will fall right into place. So there we had Rena who just said that she had a C-section. Hold on, let me scroll up because I just lost you. I had a C-section with my singleton and it was really, really okay. Yeah. And let me tell you, the other thing that people worry about is if you have a C-section that it's going to take you a longer time to breastfeed. That's BS. What makes your breast milk turn on is the delivery of your placenta. So if you feel like, oh my God, I want to have as organic as possible of an experience and you have to have a C-section, you're not going to get gypped on anything at all. Like you still could have a super duper easy breastfeeding experience, even if you have a C-section. And Shimona, do not worry about that. Like worry about the babies are going to flip. Your reality is going to be your reality. So ride out every single day gently, because whenever you start getting stressed about something, just remember, what is your reality? Your reality is that you're safe, that you're healthy, the babies are healthy. Yes, they might not be in the ideal position today, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So just worry about today. We don't hold the cards on whether the babies are heads up or heads down. There's nothing you could do. I could tell you, there's like old wives' tale. Go fool around with your husband, somebody will turn, or walk a mile with 1 foot on the sidewalk and 1 foot on the street and walk that way. Sit on a birthing ball for 7 days. There's nothing you could do. The babies only have so much room in there. And they're just tiny little astronauts that are doing their best. Mother Nature wants everybody to be head down. But if that's not the way that they fit in your body and they could grow better if they're transverse or breech, let it be. We just want healthy babies, right? So let them hang out wherever they want to hang out. All right, so I'm going to go to our next thing too. Now we're going to kind of go into.
So C-section is not that scary.
Thank you. So why should they not be scared of a C-section, says our C-section?
Yes.
Hannah Banana, what about your C-section?
It is 100% okay to have C-section. I was a planned C-section. I had baby B was flipped twice and I didn't want to go through both. So I signed myself up. I said, we're doing a C-section. And I went in with that mindset and prepared and planned type A. So if you are okay with having a C-section, or if that's what you plan to do, that's fine too. But just prepare yourself either way. If you plan on having a C-section or you're trying so hard not to have a C-section, being on the prepared side is the best thing to do, because if you know what to expect, it's so much easier mentally to prepare for your recovery and to have all that in mind just in case.
Yes, absolutely. And Jasmine,
it was fantastic. I loved my experience. It was great. I didn't
highly of it.
Yeah, I spoke very highly of it. But prepare yourself, get a binder if you're going to do it, like a belly binder. That worked. That helped a lot. Got me out of bed. Yeah. Thumbs up.
2 thumbs, 10 out of 10. She would recommend, which is funny because I had a vaginal delivery and I did not plan on that. So my water just, they actually induced me. And that's what I wanted to say for Jasmine, that you have an on-call system. Well, what you may want to do is you could potentially speak to your doctors and say, well, hey, listen, I really want to try to avoid a C-section. Maybe you could start an induction. And so they could break your water and hopefully your doctor's going to be there that day. You could plan it around that. That's just an idea. All right, so let me go back to here so I can see what I'm talking about. So now I want to talk about 3 things to do way before your delivery day. Okay, and I could see you guys are, who's our most pregnant person here? We got 30, we got 33, 27. Hannah Banana, could you look? I think I got 33 seems to be. Do we have any 34s? 35s? Do I see a 36? Do I see a 37? Now I turn into an auctioneer. All of these
I'm at
things.
34.
There you go. All right, 34 wins. There you go, Kelly. Oh, with identicals. Oh, 35. Kelly raised 35.
35 and scheduled induction for this weekend.
Yes. I'm so excited.
I know.
All right, then we're really going to buckle down. Let's make sure that you get these things done, especially when we're talking about packing your hospital bag. So we have these things to do for the rest of you, right? Kelly's already a little, she's right on par for getting everything done, hopefully. But for you guys, anything we talk about, I would love if you got done before week 31. And I know that sounds crazy, but I am sure Kelly could attest that things don't get more comfortable as you become more pregnant. You don't have easier access to your feet at some point. Things don't get lighter. You don't sleep more during the latter portion of your pregnancy. So really 31 weeks in a perfect universe is when I would like for you to get the bulk of your items done. So what does that mean? Well, I really would like if you had your hospital bag packed and ready to go. Yes, I am not saying that you're going to deliver at 31 weeks. What I am saying is just make sure that you have everything ready to go. Now, one of our partners with Bootcamp is CBR, which is cord blood registry. We're finding that many doctors are not talking to their patients about cord blood banking. I am personally and professionally a huge advocate of cord blood banking. And this is not, we went to CBR because like we sought them as our partner, not the other way around. My baby B would have benefited from his own stem cells. I did not bank. I did not even know banking was a thing. To be very, I had no idea 19 years ago that people were doing this, but people were doing this 19 years ago. And now currently my husband has a heart condition and spoiler alert, guess what the treatment is? Stem cells, which we could have used. We could have used our kids' stem cells. So it's not just the kids that are going to get to use that. It's also the parents and it could be other family members. So it is something that I would love if you looked into. And if it's in the budget financially, I really would recommend that you guys do it. And if you haven't done it yet, if any of you have, put in the chat that you have. And for those of you that haven't but are considering it, use the other twin moms as your referral, because then you each get a year's worth of free banking, which will save you like $500. So the thing is why not right within our own system, just do this. We've been doing this, by the way, kind of cracking the code of CBR stuff. But if you guys use each other as a referral, you'll both save some money at the end of the day. But seriously, it's something that's so easy to do. They just call your doctor. They make sure that your doctor knows how to do this. But the reason why we're specifically saying to bank is because we cannot donate. Parents of twins within the United States, for whatever freaking stupid reason, we cannot donate our stem cells. So you could even go to bethematch.gov, I believe it is, which is all about organ donation. I am another big advocate of organ donation because we've actually had quite a few twin mamas that have had organ transplants within the time here. I don't even think Hannah knows about that, of Twiniversity, but we try our hardest. But there's nothing better than using those stem cells that you have during delivery, and it's genuinely considered medical waste. So the reason why we say CBR is, first of all, they have the most to lose. They have the most collections in storage. They are privately owned, and they're actually owned by Cooper. So if you guys wear Cooper contacts, Cooper Vision, it's the same company now. That's kind of crazy. But the other thing is they have this thing called the Newborn Possibilities Program. So if you have a family history of certain genetic illnesses or blood disorders, they will bank for your twins for free. And so that's what I don't want you guys to miss out on. So if, God forbid, you had a family history of leukemia or even a family history of autism, they might be able to bank for you for free because there are clinical trials going on that would use your stem cells for you personally if that developed down the line. So just know that if you guys banked, tell somebody right here in the chat, and then make sure that you refer each other. And especially if you use the Newborn Possibilities program, always let us know, because it makes us very happy when you guys get to take advantage of things that companies offer that you may not have known about. But I'm a big fan of if it's free, it's for me. That's my home motto. Also, if you're treating, I am eating. That's another family motto of ours. So those two things. So yeah, so make sure that in your hospital bag, you do have your stem cell kit and it's ready to go whenever that is. And yes, you need 2 separate kits. You need one for each baby. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to make sure that you have in your hospital bag is that if you are deciding to create a birth plan, I really would like if you have at least 4 copies of that birth plan, right? We want one to go to the OB. We want one to be on file in the hospital. We want one for your partner to have the day of, and then we want one for you to have for yourself. So in the delivery day workbook, you do have a twins birth preferences sheet. I don't really personally, I know I just called it a birth plan because that's kind of the term of it, but I always say birth preferences because we can make all the plans we want. They may not ever come to fruition. However, if we prefer something over something else, somebody should know about. Okay, they really should know about that. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I really want to make sure that you have in your hospital bag is some of the off the beaten path items. I really would prefer if you have a nice extension cord. People often forget that, your iPhone or your Android or tablet or laptop, whatever you bring with you. I actually wouldn't bring a laptop, but tablet I would definitely bring with me. But the charges aren't long enough. So being able to have something that, is 10 feet long that could reach at the hospital table versus where the plug is behind you and basically tethering it over the edge of the bed, we want to make sure that we have that. Another thing that I would love if you guys had is a Bluetooth eye mask. And so an eye mask is great because it's always bright in a hospital, but I like the Bluetooth because it actually is like a hybrid of earplugs and a sleep mask. So you could get one on Amazon. They're like $14. I wear one actually on a regular basis because I like to play white noise, but this is a great way for you and or your partner. No, it's you or your partner. You should not be wearing them at the same exact time, just by one, but that's a great way for you guys to get some sleep. So if your partner's on duty, then you could get some rest and vice versa. Okay. Another item that I would consider getting is Hannah, I didn't put this in there, but I would love if you could grab the link for it. It's there's something called an Aegis wrap and the company is Saplicor. I'm actually going to do it, Hannah, because to spell it is just weird in general. So I'll throw that in there. But I had just worked with a family this week that had one, and it's amazing. So what it is there's this baby wrap that is the only FDA approved baby wrap, but it's for neonates, meaning that it's for brand newborns. So if you want to fall asleep with your baby on your chest, having skin to skin, this is a safe way to have that happen. It was actually created to be used as a neonate transfer device in ambulances. So it's a fascinating story, but you buy it by your bra size. And so if you and your partner both need one, you might want to get 2, but this is the way to actually fall asleep skin to skin without having to worry about dropping your baby or babies. And yes, you can slip 2 little puppies in there. So take a look at that. Hannah, could you remind me to see, we may have a coupon code for that on the multiple birth discounts. I'm not positive. So if we could check on that, I feel like we do, but I can't.
For the wrap? We don't have one for that.
We're going to get one. I'm going to call her today and see if we could even get buy one, get one 50% off or something like that. But she's a tiny little company. She's like a solopreneur. She does this all. She makes them and then ships them out of her garage. She's unbelievable. But she is a nurse and she created this because she also got tired of, unfortunately, watching people drop their babies after delivery. So she was a labor and delivery nurse, and I think she still is, which is why it's not as big of a company. She didn't go on Shark Tank yet. Let's put it that way. So once she does, maybe it'll blow up. But the wrap is called the Aegis, and the company is Saplicor. They only make one product. So if you go to that website, literally, it just says like hospital, ambulance, and shop. But you just go to shop. I think there's even a picture of Twinnies there, but it's great. I don't know if anybody else in the world is recommending this, but I think it's absolutely a remarkable baby product. All right, so we're going to have those things. The other things that I really, really want to make sure that are in your bag, I'm taking a look, is really food. This sounds so stupid, right? But if you deliver at 2 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, they may not have access to that turkey sandwich like you thought they would. So having some peanuts in your bag, or even M&Ms, or dare I say Reese's Pieces and peanut butter cups and some ham is always a great idea for post-delivery. But just thinking about having something that you could snack on until the next meal at the hospital. Of course, you don't have to ever eat hospital food, but usually on most labor and delivery floors, there is a pantry that does have food 24 hours a day. However, I will tell you, as somebody who often goes to hospitals for moms that are in labor and helping them post delivery with their breastfeeding, there's usually nothing in that fridge by the end of the day. Maybe I could get a popsicle and a ginger ale, and that's where it ends. So having some, like a snack bar, a granola bar, peanut butter, like the little cups of the peanut butter, just something in your bag that's going to tide you over, because if you did have to refrain from eating for X amount of time, you're going to be starving. And once they say go, you're going to want to eat something. So just have a little bit of a snack in your bag and you will not be so hangry, which will make you have a better overall experience. Okay. So we have a whole hospital bag packing list in the birthday thingy that I told you about. And then we also have a partner hospital bag packing list. So we have a separate hospital bag packing list for your partner, and you should have 2 separate bags. If you do not go on vacation with 1 piece of luggage, you should not be going to the hospital with 1 piece of luggage. Because also, let's say hypothetically, you were in recovery for 48 hours for whatever reason, then your partner is going to have to rummage through all of that stuff and maybe not have as easy time finding their toothbrush or anything else that they needed. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that was in your hospital bag is please have at least 2 going home outfits per baby. So that if you have a diaper blowout or if you have like some mega pukies, you don't have to let the baby sit in that the whole way home, because in the hospital, they only have those side snap shirts and that's about it. So we want to make sure that everybody is warm and comfy for their ride home. Okay, the next thing that I would love if you guys did is I really would love if you took a tour of your hospital, like ASAP. Things that I want you to look for. Where do you go in at 2 a.m.? Where do we go in at 2 p.m.? Is it the same entrance? Is it the same exit? Where is the postpartum floor? Now, let's say this is another shitty thing that I just learned, because I noticed New York City hospitals are doing this, which means if we are, it's going to trickle down through the rest of the country, and it's pissing me off. If your babies are in the NICU, I see them putting moms on the women's floor, not the postnatal floor. And so they're putting you in a room with somebody that may have had a hysterectomy and not another mom that just delivered her babies, if your babies aren't going to be with you. So I would love if you specifically ask, after delivery, where are you going to go to? A, with the babies. Where are you going to go to with 1 baby? Where are you going to go to with no babies? Right? Because if the babies are in the NICU, you're going to have no babies. They're going to be hanging out in the NICU for a while. And I had a nice 31-day NICU stay with my babies. And in hindsight, it was weirdly a remarkable experience. Those women taught me everything. So although it's a lot of people fear it, and I do understand where you're coming from, but those nurses all deserve statues. I can't even tell you what an unbelievable experience in NICU is. They're such skilled individuals. You are going to really use the resources of those men and those women down there. Usually they have a dedicated lactation consultant. They usually have a dedicated social worker that if you are upset about anything with your delivery or them being there, you have somebody to talk to. So you may want to ask about the resources in your NICU if you do end up there, so that it's not a surprise. But ultimately the big ones are, where are we going in? Where are we going to end up? And I would like for you to know where the NICU is. So in your mind's eye, even if you did get separated from the babies, you at least know where they are. Okay, so you're like, oh, they're on the E elevator on the left side of the hospital that's facing the highway, whatever it is. I just want you to know in your mind, if for some reason you did not get to be with them for the whole time, I want you to feel comfortable knowing that they're safe and you know what the place looks like. So those are the big things that I want you to ask on your hospital tour. While you're there too, you might want to ask what additional resources are available. What pumps do they have there? Do they offer different flange sizes? What type of lactation services are provided? Are those services provided under your hospital stay, or are they going to be billed separately? Ugh, I hate when they do that. But these are all questions that I want you to kind of get out of the way if it's a possibility that you could be on a hospital tour. Okay, now this kind of blends into the topic of insurance company, right? We were just talking about lactation and pumps. Unfortunately, you have to make a call to your insurance company, and it's a pain in the ass. You might be on hold for an hour and a half. So try to get all of your questions done at the same exact time. And I know as a fact that we have a page that's in here that's just about asking questions to your insurance company, because it's a bazillion of them. Here they are. So literally, it's an entire page of questions that I want you guys to ask your insurance company. Costs. Insurance companies are not so liberal at giving out all the information of the services that they can cover for you. So sometimes you have to dig deep, or it might be too late and they'll be like, oh yeah, we could have covered that for you. And you can be like, that literally did me nothing. Like that serves no purpose. So the specific things that drive me crazy is, number one, you have to ask your insurance company when the babies are born, how do we let you know that they need to be on our plan? Right now, weirdly, you would assume the hospital will take care of all of that. However, you know what they say about assuming. So you have to ask, you have to say, how do we let you guys know? And if you and your partner have different insurance companies and you do not specifically identify which ones you want the twinnies to be under, they are going to put the twinnies on the insurance plan of the partner that's the oldest. I have no idea who made this rule. This is the rule, though, that hospitals all over the world abide by. So if that's not the plan that you want the kiddos to be under, you have to make sure that the hospital knows where these kids are going to be. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, they're going to cover a pump. You get the pump no matter what. Even if you're like, I'm not going to pump, I'm making my milk dry out. Consider me morally corrupt. Feel free to sell that on Amazon Marketplace. Okay, this is like something that you're getting anyway. Take it. Now, here's the kicker. Do you get a pump per pregnancy or per live birth? What? 2 pumps? Yes, please. So if you get a pump per live birth, we're getting 2 freaking pumps. So that means that you could get like the big old Spectra. I literally just got my own Spectra, like no joke. I don't even know if you know that I am so sick of seeing this pump that I'm not milking myself by any means, kids, but I need to play with it because the settings are so insane to me. So I'm mastering the art of the Spectra pump behind me. But if you could get 2, get a Spectra, because it really is great. They make a Spectra Gold, which knocks my socks off. And there's another one called the Medela Freestyle. That's a hands-free pump. But please, I beg you, do not get a wearable pump. I love everybody who wants a Willow and LV. That's great. That's not for us. We make way too much milk, and it's going to spill out. And so you're going to have to stop halfway through a pumping session to empty that milk out, because we are human vending machines. Feeding 2 babies is going to give us a lot more milk than feeding 1 baby. So we really do want to make sure that whatever pump we're going to get is going to be able to hold the volume that we need. And unfortunately, there really isn't a good wearable pump that is spill proof. And so I have a lot of my twin mamas that are going in, they're making these huge investments on these wearable pumps and then hating them by the time the kiddos are 6 months old if they're still pumping. Okay, if you're only going to be pumping a short amount of time and you're like, I'm only going to be pumping for the first 2 months, then you're fine. We don't need that much milk, right? Because the volume of milk depends on the size of their tiny bellies. So we're fine to get a wearable pump for that. But if you're like, I want to go the distance and I want to try for 6 months, even for a year, definitely do not make that investment in a wearable pump. Get something that is like the Freestyle. It's very, very tiny. It looks like an old school Walkman, and you just wear that with the regular cups and go that way. That's the way to do that. Okay, the other things that I want you to ask about is, which I found another loophole. You could ask them about lactation services, but I will tell you, no matter what they say, they have to cover them. If you go to healthcare.gov and you just look up breastfeeding, it is required in the United States that they don't just cover 6 visits. They cover your breastfeeding visits with a lactation consultant for as long as you choose to breastfeed. If you choose to breastfeed for 15 years, don't know why you would possibly want to do that, but just in case you do, your insurance company is supposed to be able to, your insurance company is not supposed to be able, your insurance company has to cover your lactation. There are very few plans in the country that are grandfathered out of that. And so we have a dedicated billing person on our Twiniversity team that does all my specific lactation billing. And even though, and I'm here in New York City, I'm a little pricey. I don't know, I feel bad about it. I don't know why I feel bad about it, but I have 100% reimbursement rate, even with insurance companies that say they won't cover me. And we just give them the finger and we submit the mother of all super bills and we get it covered. So don't let your insurance company stop you from getting the support that you need, because they are horrible people. And if anybody works for an insurance company, you probably know they're horrible people. You probably know better than anybody else, but I don't want that to hold you back from getting any type of help that you possibly need. So in addition to lactation services, breastfeeding support and childbirth education is covered. So if you want to take a Twiniversity class, whether it's the breastfeeding class or the regular class, we will be able to give you a bill to submit to your insurance. Okay. And then you paid nothing. So there you go. Win-win, kids. So just know they're going to tell you that they're not going to cover it or they're going to cover 6 visits. It's all bullshit. They have to cover it, and feel free. We actually have a whole post dedicated to breastfeeding rights in the United States. And we went through it state by state so that you know specifically what your state is. I just go to the website and just look it up. Hannah, could you put the link in there of that too? But yeah, we took so much time putting that together because I just got sick of people saying one thing, but then they always covered me and it made no sense. So I don't know what's going on there, kids, but they're making me crazy. Okay. Have you found that a lactation consultant that twin moms still have a slacker side? Yes. So everybody's going to have one better boob than the other. If you're right-handed, I'll make you a $5 bet that it's going to be your left boob that makes more milk. We think it's going to be our right boob. If anybody has a better right boob and right-handed, text me. But I have now noticed unofficially that your left boob will make more milk if you are right-handed. This is my weird side hustle thing that I'm doing here. But yeah, it's we have a boob camp that's coming up. So we do this instead of delivery. We talk about nothing but breastfeeding. So Hannah, we have a date for that already, right? And so if we could put a link in so that you guys could register, you guys could do that. But we're doing this exactly again, just for breastfeeding stuff. And then the other thing that we have coming up is I do 20-minute free consultations to just get you off on the right foot. And it's literally totally free. And usually it's never 20 minutes. I've never actually done 20 minutes. It usually goes like 30 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how much we have to talk about. But I just want you guys to have a better breastfeeding experience out of the gate than you would if you didn't have support. Like I don't know if that came out right, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. So that's the stuff that we're going to ask our insurance company. Next thing that I want to talk about is how will we know that we are in labor? So have a discussion with your doctor about signs of preterm labor. Yes, we do deliver earlier than singletons because our apartment runs out of room. That's just what happens. There's nothing we could do about it. But does that mean that you're not going to deliver at 38 weeks? 38 weeks for us is term. Like if your doctor is like, yeah, I don't want you to go past 38 weeks. That's not your doctor like trying to be mean. It's because you're running out of room. And when you run out of room in utero, what could happen is the babies could grow and push either your placenta out of place, or they could get trapped. Their umbilical cord could get trapped on the side, and that it could interfere with their nutrition and their oxygen equaling their heart rate. So doctors tend to not let us go past 38 weeks because we run out of room. And I know that there's some of you who are worried about that. Trust me when I tell you it's the way to go. You don't want to push it to week 40, week 41. You really, 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 really do not. Okay. What we fear is a uterine rupture. And so if you get so big that your balloon pops, it is very difficult to quickly find the spot and put you back together again. So if you're worried about why am I delivering early, trust me when I tell you, and seriously, guys, I am a no BS kind of person. I don't know if you know historically, that's just how I roll. But you'd really want to stay at week 38 and week 38 plus a few at best. Now, if you have 7 kids already, yeah, go to week 40 because that balloon's been stretched out a few times. The doctors could predict what's happening. However, if this is your first pregnancy and you're having a duo, 38 weeks sounds good to me, please. Just be careful. Okay, kiddos? All right, so we're going to look for contractions. What the hell does a contraction feel like? Okay, so interestingly, people always assume that a contraction is going to, this is a boob, by the way, a contraction is going to feel like this, like, oh, babies are coming out. However, a contraction could just be here. You have muscles all over. And so you may just feel like a little pressure here. That could still be a contraction. I am of the school that it is better to overreact 100% of the time than underreact once. You will hear me say this on podcasts, on YouTube videos, in real life when you show up on Grand and Lafayette and you bring me a banana bread for your car seat. Like, I always want you to overreact because underreacting is going to do nothing for anybody. And so if you have to take away something from today, that's it. Just whenever you feel something, whether it's a mega contraction or a tiny little bloop bloop, call the doctor and say, hey, listen, this is what I feel. What should I do about it? Let them be the judge, right? Please, like for real, guys, like don't mess around. If you have back pain, okay, that's another issue that we have. I lost my tiny pelvis. Hannah, remember I had a tiny pelvis? I feel like my kids were playing with it and then the dog had it. And this is just my life, kids. So what back pain is that if you look at a picture of your pelvis, your tailbone actually curves in. And so if the baby is descending and the back of their skull is hitting your tailbone, you may assume that it's back pain and be like, oh my God, my butt hurts, my back hurts, everything's killing me. You could actually be in labor. And so if you have like epic back pain, call the doctor and say, hey, listen, I feel like my ass is broken. Like what's happening? It's like the bottom of my back. What's going on? Call the doctor, let them make the decision for you, right? If your water breaks, or if you lose a mucus plug, or if you have any type of discharge, any texture, any viscosity, any color, I do not care what it is, you call the freaking doctor. But before you call the doctor, before you clean up shop and you put on a pad or whatever you do, this is going to sound disgusting and I'm fine with being judged. Take a picture of the discharge or the blood or whatever it is. Because fascinatingly, a doctor could tell what's going on by what that picture looks like. Okay, so a lot of people are like, that's disgusting, that's gross, I don't want to do that. It is not gross, it is not disgusting. Welcome to motherhood. It's when you start catching throw up in your hands, like I text the girls the other day, that might seem disgusting to you now. I guarantee you're all going to catch throw up with your hands at least once in your mama bear lives. Okay, so taking a picture of any type of discharge is not something you should worry about. It's really, really, really going to help your medical team kind of decipher what's going on with your body. Okay, now the last one we got to talk about. All right, I had 2 mama bears last week. I had to think of that. It was Monday. So 2 mama bears last week that both had postpartum preeclampsia. Hannah, I didn't even tell you about it. That was one of the mothers. Remember when I texted you and said the mom was going through stuff? So yes. So Hannah also. It is now post-COVID. The big thing that we got to worry about is we are noticing a significantly higher incidence of postpartum preeclampsia, which means there is no cure for it. Okay, so preeclampsia, the cure is delivering of your babies and getting those babies out of you, and then your body will regulate. What preeclampsia is, it means that your heart is just getting super stressed out and super pissed off, and it starts affecting your other organs. Now, after delivery, and this is what you got to tell your partners, and if any of you have your partners there, like yell to them right now and tell them to come down to the computer because I would love to talk to them. But if they or you notice any vision change, any headache, if you notice any blurry vision, if you stop peeing, I need you to call your doctor ASAP. So if you're pregnant and you experience these things, that could be preeclampsia. Now I say could be, it may not be, but remember, I'd rather you overreact. And if you notice these things after delivery, like the headache is a big one, but I'm just shocked at there's nobody discussing this. And so I have moms that are going back into the hospital with postpartum preeclampsia that didn't know what it was. So I want you guys to be on alert. I do not think this is something that you should lose sleep over. It's still a small amount of people that have this issue, but it is not known enough that, God forbid you did, I don't want you to underreact. Okay? All right. Pinky promise me, kids. Thank you. I don't see pinkies. Hello. Where are you? Thank you very much. I told you I'd be watching you. So there you go. Thank you very much. And by the way, Mariah, you look so comfortable. I just want to snuggle right there with you, right? Does everybody just want to snuggle up with Mariah right now? I feel like let's all just meet in Illinois. It's fine. Leanne, you're going to have a little hard time. That's quite a trip for you. So I'm sorry, but the rest of us will meet there too. All right. So we want to keep a lookout for that. But if you notice no movement or you feel like something's off, call the freaking doctor. It doesn't have to be something that Dr. Google warrants as an issue, but always overreact. With twinnies, there's no such thing actually as overreacting. I will say that 1,000 times. I hope you get sick of hearing it. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is these kind of birthday preferences. These are the big ones. I told you guys we have the whole birth preferences worksheet in our little workbook. You got the link on the side if you want it, but these are the big ones. Who will be there is the first one. If you don't want your mother-in-law there, guess what I'm going to say? She shouldn't freaking be there. She shouldn't be there. Honestly, I don't want anybody there but you and your partner and the twinnies. If you don't feel comfortable with somebody seeing your nipples right now, that should qualify who's going to be in that circle. If you're fine with being topless in front of your sister, she makes the cut. You're fine with being like, Ma, look at my nipples. La, da, 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 da. You have to be able to do that now because that's what's going to happen post-delivery. If you're planning on breastfeeding, you're going to be topless a good amount of time. I want those babies to be skin to skin with you. And so if you're like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with my father-in-law coming out with my nipples flashing all about, then guess what? He didn't make the cut. But that's okay, guys. Nobody has to, your family is just you guys and the twinnies and your partner, unless you're flying solo, right? But that's your crew. Your crew doesn't involve the in-laws or the outlaws, as I so lovingly call my in-laws. I love them though, for real, but there's a time and a place for everything. Like I'd be fine with my mother-in-law, but my father-in-law wouldn't have been comfortable coming into the room after. I mean, this is one of the weird things, which was the benefit of the NICU, is that I, was only really naked when I was downstairs, not necessarily in my room, but make that be the deciding factor on who could come to see you in the hospital. And if everybody's like, that makes no sense, we can't wait for these babies to get here, feel free to have me be the bad guy. And just so you know, the Zoom ID is my cell phone number. You guys all have my literal cell phone number. That's it. This is my phone. When you call Twiniversity, shocker, I'll answer. So if you want to call me with your mother-in-law right there, I'd love that. Just text me beforehand and be like, Nat, it's me. I was in boot camp. She's driving me to drink. I can't drink. I'll drink after. But could you talk her down from the ledge? Yes, I will happily talk any grandma to be off a ledge. And I will tell you what I'm going to say to them. You know what? I don't know why you're so worried. You did such a good job raising her. Do you doubt that she's not going to crush this? Mic effing drop. Leave her be. You had your shot. Get out of the picture. Let her shine with her twinnies and just give her space. Or you don't call me and you just bite the bullet. It's up to you. But really think about who is going to be there on delivery day. Right. The next one is comfort measures. We talked a little bit about this before with, can I need 8 Advil after a hangnail, or am I walking on a broken leg for 7 months? Right. Have that conversation with your doctor and make sure that your comfort measures are in place. And comfort doesn't always need to be medication. It could be positioning. You could be somebody that has scoliosis. I just worked with a mom who had really bad scoliosis. Is like, I cannot deliver on my back. Like, I just can't lay back like that. That's going to hurt me too much. I'm never comfortable. So we went to the hospital. We looked at the hospital bed. We saw the way that the hospital bed was positioned. She decided she wanted a birthing bowl. I'm down with everything. But know what you're getting into so that you know if you need to bring extra stuff with you. The end. So think about that. So think about what you want those comfort measures to be. An easy comfort measure is I am very sensitive, as I so lovingly call it. And so I find that literally you will always find some kind of essential oil by my desk. And if I'm super stressed, I just put a little bit on my finger and then I rub it on my top lip. And now I smell lavender. So simple. This is just something that I could do. I don't like the clinical smell of hospitals. And even when I'm working with moms directly in a hospital, I will totally lavender my lip before I leave because I don't know. I just don't still, for whatever reason, I'm in them on a weekly basis. There's some kind of clinical smell that just triggers me in a crazy way. And I don't even feel like dealing with it anymore. So I bring my own scent with me wherever I go. So if that's something that you don't like that, or there's something that really calms you, whether it's eucalyptus, whether it's lavender, whether it's peanut butter that you have in your bag and you smear all over your face like a mustache, whatever you want. But remember that you could provide your own comfort as well. It doesn't always have to be medication. Okay. And then the final easy one is everybody could have a birth playlist. It's the easiest thing to have ready. I don't know if you don't love music. I don't know what to tell you. I love me some tunes. I love weird tunes. I don't listen to the same thing every day. Every day I pick an artist. Today was a Lionel Richie day. Random. Yesterday was a Black Crowes day. It really depends on my mood. But you could create a birth playlist that has all of your favorite songs that you and your partner met, or the slow dance that you danced with Billy Madison in 8th grade, whatever it is that makes you happy, that brings you out of your own head, create that playlist. Okay. So we have that. And of course, there's a bazillion other things that we could have, but those are kind of some of the quick ones because I just noticed what time it was. So this is a big thing that I want to talk about right this minute, and it is so important. Remember how we talked about at the beginning of this, how I want you to really be an advocate for yourself? A lot of times when doctors come in, people automatically say like, whatever, just do whatever. But if your instinct is telling you like, is there an option? Do we have options? I want you to remember the acronym BRAIN. All right. I did not discover this. This is well used in the universe. But what BRAIN stands for, as you can see right here, is benefits, risks, alternative, intuition, and nothing. So let's use delivery as a example. Okay. So let's say you had baby A vaginally, and now they're like, we're going to have to deliver baby B via C-section. I want you to say, hey, listen, what are the benefits of doing this? And they could say, well, the benefits are it's going to be a swifter delivery and the babies will be born on the same day. Do you like my medical voice, by the way? The babies will be born on the same day and it's just better for everyone. All right, good for you, doc. That may not be better for me. I'm glad it's good for everyone. Who is this everyone that you speak of, right? And say, okay, listen, what if I decide to let this roll and I don't want the C-section immediately? What if I want to see if baby B decides to come out old school style, right? What could we do then? Right? What are the risks of that? What's the potential? They could say, well, the baby's heart rate could decelerate. Okay, but could is not decelerate, right? So, but it's good. Tell me what the risks are. Now you could say, hey, listen, what are the alternatives? Are the alternatives that maybe we use a vacuum? Maybe we use forceps. Maybe we change positions, right? What are the alternatives to doing this? There's nothing wrong with asking. They could always say no, but it's always good to just know that you made a very informed decision having all the information in front of you. Now, the I is so important in this acronym because people dismiss it. If your intuition is telling you, no C-section, I physically feel that baby B is descending right now and everything is good, try to roll with that and say, but listen, this is what I feel. I have a hunch that this is what's going to happen. And the doctor's going to be like, oh, that's not statistically proven, blah, 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 blah. I love all your doctors. They're all going to sound just like this. And then, of course, you could say, doc, what if we just do nothing? What if we don't have a C-section? What if we don't use the forceps? What if we don't do, I don't change positions? What's going to happen if I do nothing? But let them run this by you. And it's okay to ask questions. You're not going to get in trouble for questioning your medical team's decision. Right? And even if you have another set of twins, which, by the way, statistically, it's a good chance you may, just throwing that out there. That's why Hannah only has one set and why pretty much all the rest of us only have twins and not twins plus a singleton. So always use your brain, Get it done. Your benefits, your risks. Like, take a picture of this. This is the second thing that I really want you to remember. So the first one is I'd rather you overreact than underreact. And then I really always want to make sure that you're using your brain. And it's not just during delivery, kids. It's also during pediatric appointments, during gynecological appointments with you, appointments with your parents, appointments with your neighbor, your appointments at the vet. Always remember to use your brain and have all the information so that you could really, really, really make an informed decision. All right, gang? All right. We already talked to this a little bit about this, the old school versus the new school. Hannah is all new school C-section. I am all school, all old school vaginal delivery. But we go through a lot of the delivery stuff in our on-demand class. So I do want to lead you there. But seeing I told you I could talk about this for 8 hours, I really wasn't kidding. And Hannah knows that. I'm shocked she hasn't been texting me every 7 seconds, go 11 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go. And then I start panicking. But when it comes to both old school and new school, unfortunately, this really isn't in your control. Okay. All we can is say, this is what we'd prefer to have happen. We're going to use our brain. We're going to have a really good discussion with our doctor. We're going to get that fear of the vaginal and the C-section off of the table, because either we're going to breathe into the acceptance that we have no control over that. The babies hold all the cards. We have unfortunately, we have no control, right? There is no walking on the sidewalk, sitting on the birthing ball, riding on a speedboat. I don't even know. Trying to swim with dolphins. There's nothing we could do here. If there was, we would all be doing it for decades, but it just unfortunately isn't as easy as that. All right. When it comes to recovery, okay, when it comes to recovery, these are the important things that I want you to remember. All right. Remember your pain meds. You're going to have had that discussion already. It's okay to ask for help. You have to believe me when I tell you that the nurses are not going to be upset if you press your little Jeopardy buzzer for them to come in. They want you to ask them for help. If you don't believe me, we have another podcast with a labor and delivery nurse who's also a twin mom, who was so frustrated with people not asking for help and then having writing reports to the hospital saying, I didn't get the support that I needed. They're not mind readers. If you need help, you have to ask them and get the support that you need. Okay. It is okay to bottle feed. I have my Dr. Brown's bottle up here. We are huge, huge fans of Dr. Brown's. And it's not just Twiniversity. I bet you your hospital and your doctors are also all going to recommend Dr. Brown's bottles. It's the majority of what's used in the country, and not because it's convenient and not because it's trendy. It's because it freaking works. They have the patent on the mechanism that goes into the center, which allows your babies to drink less air, and that gives them less gas, gives them less discomfort, makes them just a lot happier. So if and when you have to bottle feed, do not get stressed about this. Okay, it is totally fine. It doesn't mean that they're never going to breastfeed. That is not true. Nipple confusion is bullshit. I'll put that out there right now. I can't stand when people in hospitals are like, oh, you got to use a dropper, you got to cup feed. If you want to, go for it. But if your baby drinks out of a bottle on day one, that doesn't mean the twinnies are only going to take a bottle and never going to breastfeed. I know this. Seriously, that's my jam. So trust me, it's okay if you have to bottle feed. Do not get stressed about that. Right? You also have to think about a post-birth meal. It is very important that you get food and you have water after delivery. If you had an epidural, all right, they are going to keep you hydrated during your epidural. They are also going to have you use a catheter during your epidural. A lot of people don't know that, but what else are they going to do? You can't get up and use the bathroom because your legs are going to be jelly. So you're going to have a catheter during the time that you have your epidural in place. Once they take the epidural out, they're also going to take the catheter out. When their catheter comes out, you will have been peeing in that catheter and you will be fairly empty. However, you need to refill, and they're going to want you to urinate within a few hours after delivery. You may say, what's the big deal? Why are they pressuring me? What's going on? But what they're doing is they don't want the weight of your bladder sitting on your uterus that's trying to heal. So they want to eliminate that. They want to make sure that you could pee okay, that everything is working okay, that everything is doing great. So they're going to say, you know, you're going to have to pee in this little hat or whatever, the little thing that you put in the toilet. So you have to pee in that. They have to see that you're going. They want to measure it. They want to make sure that everything is working perfectly in there. But you do need to get hydrated, because a lot of times once they say, okay, you could drink fluids, people are like, I'm not thirsty. You may actually not be thirsty, but you need to replenish all the fluids that were in your body because you had been peeing artificially for an extended period of time. Okay. So post-birth, water, ginger ale, Gatorade, tea. I do not care what it is. I really don't. Drink whatever the hell you want. Soda, I'm fine with it. It does not matter. I need you to drink fluids. Okay. And so fluids and high protein, high fiber post delivery. You are going to lose some blood. There's nothing you could do about it, whether it's vaginal or C-section. That's just going to be the way it is, unfortunately. We have to start replacing some of that iron. Some of you, I'm going to guess there's even 10% of you were already iron deficient during this pregnancy. Twin pregnancies, they're just like, they're murder on us. And the funny part is that the babies are blissfully unaware. The babies steal everything from you, everything, all your nutrients, every single little bit of goodness in your body is going to the babies. And Mother Nature's like, she'll live. She'll be fine. Don't worry about her. So you have to give that back to yourself. Think steak, black bean burrito, spring for the extra guac for real. You're worth it. Go crazy. But you really do want to think, you know, high fiber, high protein post birth. All right, gang. All right. When you first meet your twinnies, all right, it is critical to go slow. There is no rush. This mama here is an experienced mama, had already breastfed before. These are her twinnies. She slapped them on. Yes, everybody was drinking, but you do not need to tandem feed out of the gate. You could work your way up to it. I prefer that you work your way up to it. If you tandem feed and you hate the experience, you may never want to breastfeed again. And I really would love if you did breastfeed, because there are so many benefits to the babies, but selfishly, there's a lot of benefits to you. There's nothing to wash. There's nothing to dry, nothing to mix. Like, it's really just right there for you. I'm in favor of lactation just because I'm lazy. So I go the lazy way. There's enough things to do that if my body can make food, that is what I'd like to do. But don't rush it. Just don't rush it. In my perfect world, you would hand express or pump during the first hour after delivery. And the reason is they call it the magic hour. The real reason is there's no magic. Well, the magic is that your body is doing this ginormous hormonal shift from having the babies to not having the babies. And interestingly, during that first hour and during that shift, you are 56% more likely to have a more successful breastfeeding experience if we could get some action going on to those boobs in the first hour. But if you don't have it, guess what? It's still going to be great. So it's not a deal breaker by any means that if you can't have access to the babies for magic hour, be at your breast, hand expressing, and we go all through that during boot camp, do not freak out. You could still breastfeed. You're still going to be okay. But once again, ask for freaking help. If you're like, this is too much for me. There's too many babies in here. I feel overwhelmed. I don't feel good. I'm hot. I'm dizzy. I'm sweating too much. Ask for help. Okay? Like, for real. I did a podcast the other day, which I wasn't the host. I was actually a guest on a podcast. And they were like, what's the one thing you would take? What's the one thing that you think twin moms should know? And I said, what they should know is the saying, yes, thank you. That's it. If somebody wants to help you, you say, yes, thank you. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the FedEx guy that's like, you want me to run and get that dog for you? Yes, thank you. I don't care if it's your coworker that's saying, hey, I'm going to come over. Could I bring anything? Yes, thank you. You never say nothing. You never say nothing. Get that word out of your mouth, throw it in the garbage. If somebody asks you if you need something or want something, yes, thank you. That's it. Please. Yes, thank you. Can I all see you at least mouth this? Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. That makes me feel better. Kiara, I didn't see it. I'm going to let it slide just this once. Okay. So we're going to let that yes, thank you slide, but that's okay. I still love you. So yes. So yes, thank you. So it's okay to be nervous. And we did talk a little bit about the NICU already. All right, gaggle of humans. The big thing is, see that picture at the bottom? Those are my twinnies. I told you they look nothing alike. And I wish that they were standing because they are a foot difference in height. My son is now over a foot taller than my daughter. She is 5'1". He's probably 6'2" now. So when I tell you they don't even look like they would know each other, they wouldn't even talk to each other on a bus. Those are my twinnies. That means nothing. The only thing they have in common is their birthday. And interesting, I had them on my husband's birthday. So I am the only Diaz in my house that doesn't have that birthday. It's very disappointing. And yes, they all require their own cake. And yes, it is very expensive. And yes, I can't stand them. And I thought that they would be over that by the time they got older. They never did. We also always celebrated half birthdays. And so we actually have a half birthday celebration every single month at Twiniversity where we have free toy packs. So always keep an eye out for that. But I do strongly recommend a half birthday if you have twinnies that despise sharing a birthday like mine did. So they always fought about the Chuck E. Cheese Ticket Master or the Ticket Blaster thing. So we would always do a July birthday and we switched every year. All right, guys. So every year or every month, we do a delivery day deal. This is the one that we have for you this time. We're doing, if you buy the on-demand class, you're getting the breastfeeding class for free. Okay. And remember, like I told you, there's a good chance that this is all going to get covered by insurance too as a childbirth class because I am a childbirth educator. I'm a licensed childbirth educator. So I'm not even just self-proclaimed childbirth educator. So right now, if you do one, you're automatically going to get it. Unfortunately, you have to scan that because that's going to be the link with the code that's going to keep everything together. If you try to buy the delivery day deal without that little zappy thing or the link that Hannah just sent, it's not going to give you the other one for free. So make sure that you do this. This will only be available, I think, for the next 30 something hours, and then it goes away. So you really, really do have to take advantage of this. And yes, this will be available just for the people that are here. We're going to actually put this on YouTube in a private link so you could rewatch it later. Okay, so don't get nervous. That's why literally I'm recording right now. And the other thing that I want to tell you is every single boot camp, we do like a mega freaking giveaway. So what our giveaway is for this month is you're getting the Bretza. Is that the washer dryer sterilizer? Holy crap. How did we get that?
I know. Amanda's amazing. So we got the new one.
Wait, and a warmer? We got a bottle warmer too?
Yeah, Dr. Brown's bottle warmer. Yeah.
So wait, okay. So by the way, it's been sold out, but I saw the tank in the back, which is how I know it. So it's the Baby Bretzer washer dryer sterilizer. No joke. In 88 minutes flat, you got bottles galore, like they're already cleaned. And I'll tell you, if you end up winning this or end up buying it, you have to buy less bottles because you could just use this a few times a day. So you really only need to buy like 6 baby bottles because that washes 4 at a time. I've actually played with that with my own hands. It's really, really insanely wonderful. And word on the street is that they're making an accessory for it so that we could use it for other household products after the babies are big. Don't tell them I told you, but I didn't sign an NDA, so I feel like I could tell you. So there's that. Then we also have a book called A Wish for Twins that was written by a twin grandma, which was great. And we have a whole Dr. Brown's bundle, including their bottle warmer. We have a We Go carrier, which you are going to freaking love. If you did not get one secondhand and it is not in the budget to get a new one, make sure you go and register. And we have free banking from CBR for both kiddos. Hello. That's how we roll, right? So we got that. Plus, of course, we have a Twiniversity class bundle that's ready there for you guys. So everybody is eligible to win. You're going to see that the giveaway is going to be live on Instagram, right, Hannah? If I'm not crazy? Okay, good. So yes, go enter to win there. And that is where we will pick our winner. What else do I have? Oh, here. We also, because of our new book that we just launched, the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide, know that we have an entire sleep series that's dedicated to newborn twin sleep. So sleep under 5 months old. You guys could scan that there. I know there's so many things. We'd love to give you a lot of QR codes. And then this is our boot camp. So April 30th, we started off the beginning of the month with boot camp. We're going to end it with some boobs. And I just got new boobs. So instead of it just being a nipple that looks like this, I know that some of you have nipples that look like this or even inverted nipples. I got us all new boobs. I'm so excited to play with them with you guys. I know that sounds really weird, but in my line of work, it's all I do all day. All right, kiddos. And then our last one here. What's our last slide? Yes. And thank you, of course, to our partners. And we have Edelweiss too, which is another twin mom owned business. But seriously, I am so glad that you guys were able to join me. I know I went over a little bit on time. Thank you for bearing with me. But seriously, I could do this for days. And I hope that you did not hate this experience. That's always important to me. But if you do need more, like I said at the beginning of class, we're always here. So we have our on-demand classes for you. You can watch them 24 hours a day. You have 9 months of access. So if you need to rewatch a video time and time and time again, do it. And you have access to us too. And don't forget to, we have a monthly membership. Every second Tuesday of the month at 1:30, we meet up as a family. And they're people from all over the world. They're twin families from all over the world. And either it's myself and Lauren or just Lauren that's there. Lauren is also a lactation specialist, a sleep specialist. She's a doula. She's a twin mom. She has 2 singletons in addition. And she's one of my best friends, like genuinely, like outside of the virtual world. She's our inner circle people. So that is always at the second Monday of the month at 1:30. Hannah sends out those emails. So check out our membership as well. And until next time, I'll see you later, alligators, and get the hell out of here. Go have some babies. Kelly, keep us posted on what's happening. I can't wait to find out what's going on. And if you need anything, like I said, the Zoom ID is my cell phone number. No joke. You could call or text me if you need anything. We really mean that. Or slide into our DMs or just email us at community@twiniversity.com. All right, kiddos. And if anybody has any last minute questions, unmute yourself and ask away. But I know some of you have to get back to work and I feel bad that I went over. All right. You're welcome. You guys are more than welcome. Hannah, do you have
just a quick question?
Yes, Jasmine.
I looked at the link for the entry for the giveaway, and I think you guys tagged the wrong Dr. Brown's page.
Ooh, that's Hannah's fault, Jasmine. Thank you. She's fired now.
Like it's not even
it's
a page, but there's like no post or anything on there. Okay. And like it's not their official page. So I think
yay! I love you, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, honestly, the only way that we know that we mess up is when you guys tell us. So we never mind. And Jasmine, feel free also to edit any articles you'd like. We accept all the help available. Weirdly, I will tell you that things like that are how we found Twiniversity team members. We have writers on our staff that's like, we found an edit or we found a word misspelled. And I'm like, yes, thank you. See what I'm saying? I use that even in business. Yes, thank you. You could help us. I love that. So thank you very, very, very much. We will edit that. We will have that all fixed up. And Jasmine, just know she will be punished severely for this. Just so you know. Never.
It's edited. There we go. Dr.
See?
Brown.
That's how you gotta love it. Okay, good. Thank you very much for finding that. And yeah, call or text me if you guys need anything. I'm going to stop